Llama talk. Blah, 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 blah. What's up, dude?
What's up? What's up, man?
Spring break edition, as well as a double episode
Yeah.
edition of Llama talk. It's all very exciting. In my room at home. It feels nice, and you're not, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah, well, I'm having a lot of fun here at my school where no one's going to be here in my study room and probably going to go crazy. But yeah, oh well.
But Survivor. So what? Like we have a lot to talk about. Which do you want to just go chronologically, or do you want to like go backwards, just like talk about Max and then work our way
No, let's
backwards?
go. Let's go chronologically.
Okay, so let's just talk about Lindsay as being the first boot. I mean, of this episode. Clearly, we called it like 100%. That's exactly what we said was going to happen last week. So we're pretty smart. Um,
Oh yeah, we're so
Obviously.
smart.
Uh, but I wasn't surprised at all. I like the editing. Like sometimes, like it's perfect for casual fans who are like, oh yeah, Rodney looks like a total dick, and Lindsay's getting this awesome blue collar speech empowering the tribe. So Rodney has to go home. What? Lindsay went home, but like it was kind of obvious because you just have to look at the episode before, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's surprising, but am I really that sad Lindsay's gone because she's kind of a bitch last episode now that I think about it? That's what they're trying to do.
hmm I mean, that speech was so fucking funny just because it was like it was so cheesy, so like fucking empowering, you know. It was I, I really didn't like it, and it really creeped me out that they're like, yeah, no matter what, if one of us goes home, we're still gonna win because we're like this tight and stuff like that. And like, if Lindsay had this much pride for the blue collar tribe, it really made me think like maybe they should have kept her over Sierra or something like that.
Yeah,
Because
I think
Sierra,
Yeah, I think it was absolute like BS Lindsay's speech because like if you tell me that Lindsay would be happy and feel pride if Rodney or Dan won the game, then like you'd be crazy. Like Lindsay is not rooting for either of those people to win $1 million.
hmm but I still
So
think she's more tight with them than Sierra would be. Sierra's definitely like Sierra could potentially be like the swing vote on the like new tribe, you know. That if they had Lindsay, I feel like Lindsay may have stayed with them, you know.
yeah,
Um,
and I feel like in terms of the move to get rid of Lindsay or Sierra um,
yeah,
over Rodney. Yeah, a
yeah,
lot of people are saying face value it's a bad move because Sierra could flip, but you never really know what the swap is gonna,
yeah,
hold, or if there's even gonna be a swap. And I feel like if they did the right damage control with Sierra, like obviously face value it's a bad move because Sierra now hates you guys instead of having five strong. However, if if they were like not being a complete asshole to Sierra right when they get back to camp, if they were like, you know what, just in case there's another challenge, we needed to keep Rodney, but trust me, he's the next to go. Like, pull
yeah,
over Sierra and say, we hate Rodney, and we're going to have him as a buffer if we go into a tribe swap, and he's going to be loyal to us, but we're going to slit his throat, and you're going to be coming with us to the final three. That's all you need to say. But for some odd reason, they're just like, you know what? We just did it. So you would go home if there was an idol played. You suck at challenges. You suck at life, and it's just like what are these players doing? You know?
yeah. I think Dan is so stupid. We're like Dan always has to like Dan's really bad socially. He's socially aware about things and he surprises me a bit in the game. But like socially, it's just like, what are you doing? How are you can convince her to side with you when you're like, mean things were said on both parts, and I accept your apology. So, moving forward, we're going to be stronger than that or something. And it's like, no, just say sorry to her. She doesn't have to apologize to you for anything because you need her right now. Just suck up to her. And Dan can't suck up to her. And it pisses me off. It's going to fuck him over.
Exactly. Because Dan, yeah, because Dan is fat. Dan is ugly. Dan has a blue collar, medium paying job, certainly not rich. He doesn't have all that much except for his pride. So I think that he just like wants to, he has to be right. Because Dan, he's not the type of person that, has like a ton of shit and things. Be like, you know what, I'm wrong. Like, I'm pretty sure he's the type of person that wants to be right 24, 24/7 all the time. And that's just not going to work on Survivor. And the great thing about Survivor is that you can be as mean as you want to the cameras, and it's fun to do that. It's fun to just be like, Sierra, you know what? Like, I was completely out of line. I was wrong. You were right. And then to the camera being like, I hate Sierra. She's the worst. She's an immature little brat. I didn't mean anything I said to her. I was lying straight to her face, and she ate it all up because she's that gullible. And, like, that's fun to do on the show. And I don't know, like, just take that opportunity. I think the irony of saying that to the camera behind their back is more pleasurable than actually, having so much pride in, standing up to the person when it's a stupid strategic move.
Yeah. I think it's funny when we're definitely not going chronologically right now, but
Whatever.
when Dan and Mike were talking, and like they were arguing about who should go like apologize to Sierra to try to bring her back over, and Dan's like, no, dude, I have so much more women experience than you and stuff like that, and like Mike had stupid intentions, and like his reasoning behind everything was really flawed, but I feel like his actions would have been the right one. They should have sent him instead, because he at least would have been like, I'm sorry, like that. And like that's all, I feel like you have to do to suck up to someone. And Dan just can't fucking suck up to someone. Like, why did they send him over?
It's like these three guys, if I was a woman, like these three guys are like literally the worst three people in this cast to be like stuck with. Like the blue collar tribe is, you can call it like the sexist tribe or like the clueless tribe, or like they're just dumb. They're just not like, they're not smart.
Yeah.
I don't know, just all of their logic and just being like, oh, you just have to nod and say yes because women just want to hear that they're right. You just
No, it's so stupid.
shut up, don't do. They want like a sincere I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm 18 years old, and for some odd reason, I feel like I know more about, like, I shouldn't feel like I know more about women than Dan, but, like, I don't know how he can just, like, maybe he's just playing it up for the camera also, because he just, like, seems disingenuous whenever he's talking. Like, in terms of, in terms of a casting decision, do you think Dan was a good choice? Because I don't think he seems very natural in front of the cameras. Like, Rodney and Mike, I'm believing them at least, but Dan, I don't believe, like, anything's coming out of his mouth.
From a casting perspective, yeah, I think he was a great call. I like seeing Dan. I like watching Dan play. He may not be the best player ever, but it's enjoyable to watch someone like his weight and his age and who sucks actually play the game. If that makes any sense, it's, I don't know. I like watching this like fresh new like perspective of a player, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like theoretically, I like him as a casting choice. I just want some more, like, I just want to believe him. I just feel like he's trying so hard in the confessionals, and I don't believe that's his actual personality a lot of the time. And I don't like that. I don't like when Survivor is kind of crossing into Big Brother territory of diary room stuff where they're just like playing it up and hamming it up in there. Because that's not Survivor. Survivor, you're supposed to be stripped down to the raw you, and then talk how you would talk, to anyone. But
Yeah.
overall, I think Dan was probably a good casting choice. Unlike Will, who's just a waste of space.
Okay. I mean, that's your opinion, man. But like, I feel like it is hard. You know,
That's the
there's
overwhelming
like,
opinion.
okay, sure. But I mean, well, it was Will's birthday, right? Was that? No, that was last episode. Never mind. Um, but like, I feel like it's hard to be natural and stuff when there are like 12 cameras around you at camp and stuff. And it's not just you and a bunch of castmates. You know, there's like a whole crew. At challenges, they say there's like what 100 people. It's hard if you're the center of attention like that, and you people expect things from you. Dan definitely tries too hard when he's too like he tries to be way too funny, you know, which he sucks at. But like with the Yo Mama joke and stuff like that. And I just feel like Dan has like it's not Dan, but everyone. It's like a lot of pressure on these castmates, and that's why like I feel like you know returning players, I said before, have a huge advantage because they're comfortable in front of these cameras and they know what to expect. You know. But like,
Yeah, I feel that. And in terms of Will, uh, I just think that like what better thing to represent 15 years of Survivor than to just further enforce racial stereotypes, like the fried chicken line and the black guys can't swim line. It's just that's all we've gotten from Will basically is like he's an African American on Survivor, and like that's there's not much more going on, and I feel like he just showed up, and he hasn't had to do anything, and he's probably gonna well he's actively made bad decisions up until this point, and he's probably still gonna go further.
Magnus, this happens every season. Every season, you pick someone that you absolutely despise. And for some reason, it had to be Natalie last season. And no, it was fucking Jeremy last season. You absolutely despise Jeremy. And you're absolutely despising Will for some reason.
That
And
was I did not okay. I despise Jeremy only from an editing perspective. Only from an editing perspective. I love my homeboy Jervis. Uh, you
no,
know,
I don't
but I
mean
just
race.
don't like Will. Like I was very open to Will.
No, I know. But I
It's
feel
it's
like
not it's not a racial thing at all. I'm not racist. I'm not.
it's not.
I'm
It's
just saying,
but I mean like
like he just doesn't bring much to the table.
yeah, but what I'm saying is like just give him a chance. Give him a chance. He doesn't have to be your favorite, but just don't put all this pressure on Will. You know, you're putting too much pressure on Will, okay? Maybe Will needs a little bit less pressure from Magnus and he can shine and he can be a good player. Just keep your options open. That's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is that he's supposed to be the funny guy. He's supposed to be funny, and he has like a cartoon. Like that's how he was cast. He was the viral YouTube guy who, when life comes at him, he just like does whatever. He flies by the seat of his pants. He's spontaneous. He's hilarious. And all I'm seeing is just like a cartoon frowny face, and him trudging around like he's just sad and hungry, which is exactly what I feel like is happening. But you know what? You know, he might come around. He might, win a food reward, and then he'll be happy again, and maybe say some funny stuff.
Don't
But we'll keep our options open. What did you think about the first challenge, the blindfold one, where Kelly got her face torn in half?
I thought it was kind of, I don't know. Those challenges always like kind of like they're fun to watch, you know, because everyone's bumping into everything and stuff like that. And I knew like you can totally see like that they were editing it, so like that was gonna drop on Kelly because like it kept hitting everyone. I remember like when like Will dropped it like the first time, Jeff was like, "Hey, watch out," or something like that. And like it was funny, but when like Kelly got hit, like there was just like a whole like shit ton of blood and stuff, and like I was like, oh shit, like she's got a concussion or something, but she like seemed totally fine about it. And I don't know, that was just funny because like Jeff and like everyone else was like super worried, and she was just like, yeah, I'm gonna keep playing, and like that really gives me more props to Kelly and stuff like that.
I mean, I, honestly, in terms of personality wise, I felt like she's kind of been playing like she's had a concussion for most of the game up to that point. But I thought it was badass. I thought it was definitely badass how the blood came out and she's like she has blood streaming down her face and she's like, no, I'm still playing. The only part I thought was lame is that like it was a poorly designed challenge. Like the heavy platform coming down shouldn't have been the part where people get hit. Like the crotch level poles that people smash into, like that's funny. That's why we watch the challenge. That's what we want to see. It was disappointing that Max was the only guy competing because
Hmm.
obviously LJ getting hit in the balls like 10 times and Spencer in
Yeah,
Kakian was pretty funny. And I mean, obviously it's bad for them to like design challenges specifically for the purpose of people getting hurt. But I don't know, like I kind of like the beat the shit out of each other challenges that they haven't really had one uh, this season yet, and I don't want them to because like the teams are so lopsided now. But I
yeah,
would like them to try to design like a three-person beat the shit out of each other challenge that somehow makes it so like the two can't gang up on one every single time, like some type of point system or I don't know something where I'm sure the challenge people could come up with something because I think it'd be cool to watch.
yeah. You wanna ask Vaughn what she thinks?
Oh,
Bon
Bon
Bon?
Bon,
Yeah.
hey Bon Bon, meow. Yeah. Uh,
Well, she didn't seem to like it very much. But,
well,
oh,
oh well. So yeah, I thought the challenge was cool. It was the first time like commercial break mid challenge really that I remember, and I thought
yeah,
that was kind of annoying because it's like, oh, we're getting right into the action, yeah, challenge, and then like commercial break right in the middle, so that was kind of annoying.
yeah,
But I mean, I knew, like it was pretty obvious to me at least that Kelly wasn't gonna go anywhere, especially from like the preview. Whenever they preview, it really it normally it doesn't happen unless they say like a medical, someone gets medevac and then they don't even give a clue as to who it is. Then you have to decide who is it.
yeah,
But for this one, I figured it was just gonna be like a Randy Bailey in Gabon type of situation
yeah,
where they're just like, oh my god, look at all the blood, but you're fine, just stitch you up and like we'll just use this as pretend drama in
yeah,
the scenes for the next episode. But
yeah,
overall, I thought it was cool.
yeah. I don't know. It was really cool. It made me like Kelly more and made me pay attention to Kelly more because we haven't really seen her a lot more, or a lot on the show. But we got to see her like strategize, and I like her and Mike working together. I think that's a really good combination, and I like to see more of that at least.
Yeah, and I don't know really how the swap is gonna like affect that
Hmm.
because it doesn't really seem like either tribe is. It's kind of just an inauthentic kumbaya for both tribes where like I don't really think that they're making a strong, 5 or 6 person alliance that can take them to the end. I think they're just trying to make like four best until the merge, and then they'll, scramble again. Because you saw in Cagayan that each tribe really tried to solidify their post-swap group to
Hmm.
make it to the end, but I don't really see that happening.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think that was really interesting in Cagayan how like they like totally solidified their post swap group, and I totally thought like LJ and Morgan and Jeremiah, Jeffra, they would all get together and like vote out like the rest of them, or like use the bronze to vote out the rest of them. But I don't know, that was really crazy, and I definitely see that happening like this game, where it's like the tribes that started off that way actually want to like get back together and stuff like that, and like Kelly wants to get back with like Mike, and like I feel like Caroline wants to get back with like Tyler and stuff like that, and so I can definitely see that happening.
Yeah, and I just feel like, you know, all the tribes, except for No Caller, because they had the opportunity to go to tribal twice and get out the two lower people on the totem pole. And if Will was like smart, he'd kind of be like, "Screw you, Jen and Haley. Like, I'm gonna make a new alliance and actually take control of the game instead of just like having you guys and Joe, do everything for me." But I
Magnus,
think that all the tribes. I'm not gonna have a rule anymore. I'm just saying that like I think the tribes could have done better at
you
like we
expect
always,
too much. You just expect too much from Will. He just wants to make
I
sandwiches. He's a
I
simple
expect
guy,
good
man.
gameplay. It's Survivor 30. It's Survivor 30. You have to. Every person has to be a hit. And like, I mean, they gotta knock this out of the park. It's 15 years of Survivor. Come on. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I think the tribes could have done a better job of solidifying the outliers. Like Shurin and Max were just so oblivious to the fact that they were alienating themselves and not ingratiating themselves and Joaquin, because they easily could have been swapped with Joaquin and then they're screwed. I mean, in their eyes, like this was best case scenario,
Yeah.
them being with Carolyn, because they weren't as tight with Tyler and Joaquin. But even then, like in the best case scenario for them, it's like Carolyn still didn't want to be with them. So if Tyler and Joaquin were swapped with them, they'd be even more screwed. And I think that Blue Collar didn't do a good job either. Obviously with Sierra, we talked about it, but like
Yeah.
you just have to like, even if Joaquin is the next to go, let's all just like pretend that he isn't. Make
Yeah.
a fake three-person alliance with him. Talk and tell Tyler and Carolyn to do the same. Make him feel like he's the swing vote. I don't
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny because like I went back and thought about it a lot, and like Max was my first pick on the draft, and so like he definitely had it coming, no doubt about that. And I think it's funny how like I watched it and I was like, these guys are actually playing like super fans, but not in a good way. As in a way like we talk about Survivor right now. Like they're not actually going out and playing it. They're still kind of just like talking about like strategizing and stuff, but they're not actually like doing it. It's all a social game, and you have to make sure you have those social numbers and those social connections that like can further you in the game. And they just were so oblivious to that that they definitely didn't deserve to be there. They
Yeah, I think that like the bad thing though is that they really edited it in a way where like casual fans like Jen are looked at, you know, like I know that the majority of the people that watch Survivor, like the millions of viewers, are casual fans. So obviously they want to appeal to those people more. Like, yeah, those freaks that do a Llama Talk podcast about Survivor would suck on the show, and they're just like nerds and geeks. Like, why are they trying to remember this stuff? And like, I mean, obviously the knowing the astrological signs of the different winners was a weird thing, but like knowing the swap from one world and just being like, yeah, this is, we can equate this situation where we suck and the other tribe is ridiculously strong. That's happened in a few seasons, like one world. And I mean, but the thing is that Max isn't like having that knowledge is one thing. Having all this knowledge in your head is one thing, but when you don't have the self control or restraint to hold it back in a social setting, like if we go to a dinner party, we're not just blabbing about Survivor the whole time. I guarantee you that Max is. Like,
yeah.
so I just didn't like how it represented the super fan person in a way
Yeah.
that was so negative, and the casual fan as someone who can play Survivor better because, you've had super fans do extremely well in the show. Cochran and Spencer, and I mean, sure, the majority of people who've won haven't been super fans, but I mean, only like one or two out of the people cast on a season is an actual super fan. So having a few great players, I mean, I still think that like we have as good of a chance as anyone, if not better, of
Mhm.
going on Survivor and making a big splash, making it far in the game, or even winning.
I mean, I feel like it's funny how like you say like Max had all these like theories and stuff in his head, and so does Sharon and stuff. But they just like the problem is they don't apply it. I'm sure they know the right thing to do and stuff like that, but they can't apply it to their own game, and that's what like makes them like they seem more like watchers. Like they like to watch the show a whole lot, and like talk about it, and they're super interested in it, and super happy to be there and stuff, but they weren't actually like applying it to the game, and that's what I thought their downfall was, and yeah, I guess they failed to
Yeah,
do that.
like hard work only gets you so far because you have to execute. Like you don't see people who are great in a sport. They don't, they're not great in that sport just by being buff. You can't lift weights and then be great at this obstacle course. You have to be good at the obstacle course. It doesn't matter if you're kind of a lanky, skinnier guy. If you're buff, you might not be good at this thing. Just because you know a lot, just because you practice a lot, just because theoretically you should be the fastest at this, doesn't mean that the person who's more seasoned in actual things that it takes to win Survivor, which is primarily, creating and maintaining social relationships. That's what you have to actively, spend most of your effort on. And I think that it's edited in a way that looks so strategic all the time that people who obsess over the show obsess over the strategic element, because that's what we talk about more, because that's the primary thing to talk about. But both of us know in the back of our mind, 23 and a half hours is spent socially, and then half an hour is spent in the forest strategizing. And I feel like Max and Sharon had that like flip-flopped.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, Magnus. But yeah, that's exactly how I see it. But like, what do you think of? Now we're getting ahead of ourselves. Where were we on? We're on like the chicken part. What did you think of that? And Jen finding the idol. I thought that was pretty smart of her to use that to go look for the idol, because no one's gonna question it.
Yeah, I thought that like, to be honest, like, I mean, if I'm gonna, I thought it was a good time. Like, go search whenever you can when you have a good excuse. That's what I would do. But the fact that it hasn't been found, especially for blue collars, the fact that it hasn't been found yet, it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, if I had any inkling that I was going to get voted off, I would find the idol. It's in an obvious tree somewhere, or in the roots of a tree. Like, I would literally search 24/7. And I think Nina should be in the game right now because she should have found the idol. Because she knew, like, she had 3 days to do nothing but search for the idol. And I think that while it was good that Jen found the idol, I thought it was a smart timing. And while you saw some people question where she was, I still don't think that people are suspecting her that much. But I still can't believe that no one found it earlier, especially for a tribe that's gone to tribal twice. You'd think that there'd be some type of desperation, but I guess that's no caller. They just sit back and are too busy surfing.
Yeah. Oh well. I don't know. I'm pretty. I'm. What do you think about her finding it though? Was she the one you wanted to find it? It's kind of weird because I don't know what she'll do with it. She seems to be
I think,
smart enough, but I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I don't think that, like, I mean, she might be like amazing gameplay. It wasn't my first pick of someone I wanted to find it. I don't think Jen has been like, I haven't liked her very much in confessionals. I
Hmm.
think that she's trying really, really hard, and I really don't find most of what she has to say very funny. Um, and I don't like just the initial reaction of like, oh yeah, I can really fuck people up with this thing. It's just like she is so wrapped, and she immediately goes to the confessionals like, I'm a no caller. No caller found this title, and you look at are the ones that typically, you know, really use this. Like, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, since like, how are no callers more likely to utilize an idol in a way that's entertaining and strategically good? Like, why? Oh, I think they're equally as likely as any other caller. Like Tony's blue collar. He did it fantastically. Tyson's probably no caller, but he didn't really have to use his idols in the previous season. And it's just like Russell Hantz is like, is he a blue collar? But he's like a multimillionaire. I think it's like,
Yeah,
he's
he's blue
yeah, he's
collar.
probably a white collar because he owns shit. He doesn't actually drill oil. He's not Mike. He has millions of dollars. So, and these are like, and Tom Westman had a great idol move in Heroes versus Villains. So I just don't like. I don't think she knows what she's doing that much. I think that
Hey,
she's kind of
Magnus.
she's kind of
She's seen
bumbling.
every episode. She's seen every episode of Survivor.
Yeah, exactly. And she's not. I mean, she doesn't know the swap from One World. How could you not remember the swap from One World? Like, I mean, how can you even play the game if you like don't know that? All I'm saying is that like, when you immediately get an idol and you're like so preoccupied with the caller theme that like you're just gonna drop a bunch of callers in confessional. That's just the question was like, am I glad she found the idol? Just having to hear the confessional afterwards, I would say no. I kind of would have rather had like Haley do it because from what I've seen, like I like her more, and I wish she had more airtime because Jen's
Yeah.
just kind of getting on my nerves, and I like Joe didn't get much airtime, but I like Joe. I wouldn't have minded if Joe found the idol, but
Yeah.
whatever. I'm hoping that the blue collar idol is found, preferably by like somebody somebody cool like Joaquin or something,
I
somebody
feel
that's
like,
actually gonna be like an underdog.
yeah. Joaquin and Ronnie's bromance for next episodes looks pretty good.
Yeah, like
It's
I
really
mean,
weird.
like the least unpredictable thing to ever, like the most predictable thing to ever happen in the history of the show is Rodney and Joaquin like getting along and
I
becoming a
know.
bromance. Like everyone saw this coming.
I know. It's funny. Um, but yeah. And then what was the immunity challenge
The
for?
first one was like the Big Brother type of one where like you string the ball up
Yeah.
through the holes, and
Yeah.
I thought that challenge. I liked that challenge in Big Brother. I thought
Mhm.
it was pretty cool in Survivor, and I liked how three different people for each tribe had to get the ball up. So it really put people and every tribe member had to go through the rope course. So it really, I don't like challenges where someone can just like sit back and basically just jog the course like behind everybody else who's doing the individual stuff. I don't like those challenges. You have to call people out. So I thought that challenge was pretty good. And what was the last one? Oh
Uh,
yeah, that was the lopsided one where they were like pushing the sleds through the obstacle course and then doing the wrecking ball. I don't know why they have all these post-swap physical challenges.
yeah.
Um, and personally, I'm like really annoyed how the swap panned out. I think that at least put like an even amount of guys and girls on each tribe, at least as even as you can. But in this case, you would have had an even split, or
Yeah.
do like like we suggested last week, do a schoolyard pick. That makes it so much more interesting because then
Yeah.
it's more likely to be even physical tribes, or at least there's going to be a lot of drama because of it.
hmm I feel like definitely like we called it last week where it's like they should have done a schoolyard pick because we saw this coming, It's like really unbalanced like last season, and like One World and stuff like that, and like you really don't. It doesn't make it interesting. You want like a good competition between the two tribes. It's not fun if one tribe just totally gets decimated when all the people on my fantasy draft are mostly on that tribe, and the other tribe just flows by till it merge.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I just think that like it's also stupid when it's just like a random swap. It's only for 2 episodes. Then afterwards it's the merge. Like it didn't happen at all. And with the schoolyard pick, if like someone's pissed, then they're gonna still be pissed at the merge. It's not like it has a lasting effect on the game. Sometimes the tribe swaps just seem like they're temporary, and people just go back to like, or just do all these new alliances at the merge. It's like it didn't even happen. Especially since it's just for like 2 votes, maybe or maybe 3. But I just think that it would have been. And I feel like they just like disregarded the schoolyard pick as an option because they did it at the beginning of the season a few times, and it
Mhm.
resulted in like you had Oolong that was a mess, and then you had uh, Fong and Cabone, which was also a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they just disregarded like the schoolyard pick from then. But I think that I don't even think they've ever done it in a tribe swap, except for I think they did some type of thing in Gabon. Yeah, they did a schoolyard pick, but they did like the ranking system first.
Yeah.
And I just think that adds so much more drama.
Yeah.
And like I know that if I was on Survivor and they had that twist for me, I would obviously like pick someone I didn't know, but I felt like I could like we might get along, so I don't piss
Mhm.
other people off. Like that'd be the best move. But in the moment, I feel like it would be very hard to, or if I was on the bottom of an alliance, as if, I would just pick my like ally or something. But I think that it would force people who are just like hanging back, playing it cool, to like shit. I have to make a decision in front of everybody that could like fuck me over, and people who get like who don't do well under pressure, which is probably a lot of Survivor contestants. Uh, I think they would flounder in a way that's fun to watch and entertaining. So Survivor producers, get on it, or you can always hire me. I would be happy to intern. Uh, but you guys get like I mean it's getting predictable. Like four tribals and then tribe swap randomly. One tribe sucks, the other tribe doesn't. Two tribals and then merge and then we can actually start enjoying the show. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know. Just throw a curveball. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, what creeps me out the most about this whole these like back-to-back episodes is that Jeff said before these episodes aired that these would be some of the best episodes of the season. If these were two of the best episodes of the season, this season is going to be fucking terrible.
Yeah, I thought that Lindsay's boot was like if Lindsay's boot just ended like that, and then we had to wait another week for Survivor. No, no one would have liked it at all. Rodden was a dick the whole entire. Looking forward to what the new twist is for this season, because the Tyler Perry idol did not do it for me, and or nor anybody in 28. And I don't know why they don't do like. I mean, sure, they want to make it so it's not just like sometimes bullshit stuff like Big Brother that just fucks people over. But I think that like a sudden death vote or like some type of name where if someone finds an idol and they all of a sudden become if they want to play it they can become the only vote. Like everyone casts their votes, then Jeff's about to read them. They're like, up, wait, no. Then Jeff takes the urn, like pours the votes in the fire, and then like he or she has to go and like write another name, and that's the only one in the pot, and that's the person that goes home. I think that'd be a cool twist.
That would be so. They should only have one of those because that would be so fucking overpowered.
I mean, I think it would be, uh, like, I don't know if it'd be overpowered to the point where, like, an idol that you can play after the votes, because one, that's not entertaining for the viewers at all. A sudden
Yeah,
death idol, it, like, you can
yeah,
use it at any point in the game, and you'd probably use it, like, you would definitely use it. You can't just hold on to it the entire time, because, like, I don't know. I just feel like there's stuff that they can do that they haven't done yet. And then when you get tribe swap, you can do a tribe swap, but make it from two tribes to three tribes, or go even from three tribes to four tribes. Like something that really just like, whoa, like there's only five people on or four people on my tribe right now, and we need to vote someone off. Sure, it sometimes screws people over, but like regular tribe swaps do that also, and I don't know. I mean, it's not like horribly screwing people over. Unlike they did the twist in China with Aaron that completely
yeah,
fucked him over. It's just like pick two people that are going to be the next two people to go,
yeah,
and that was complete bullshit. And I think like a sudden death idol like that would be cool.
yeah. You think Jeff Probst next season is going to be like, you know, my BFF, Tyler Perry, called me up that morning, and he was like, "Hey, I have a great idea for you. What if you have two tribes, and you're like, hey, who are your two strongest players? And when they write down their two strongest players, you make them switch tribes." And Jeff's gonna be like, "Oh my god, why haven't I thought of that before? That's the best idea ever."
Yeah, and then
Like
people are like,
seriously, don't try to reuse ideas. It's not making it any more entertaining. It's fuck that.
yeah, and Tyler Perry's gonna be like, okay, you know when there's a tiebreaker and how like you pull the white rock and that person goes home, you should make that rock purple instead. Like, that'd be awesome. Like, mind blown. But yeah, I think that I just don't. I feel like this is exactly the same thing as Kagayan. Like, I mean, Kagayan was a great season, but like they are doing literally the same. It's like the same season.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like it's not Kagayan though, because Cookahan had a different feel to it. This definitely is like following the same format, and it's like brains, bronze, and beauty is basically fucking white collar, blue collar, and fucking no collar. That's basically it, you know. But like, I feel like that cast and the way it played out was so much better than how this season's playing out right now.
Yeah, and like obviously Kagayan's way better through 5 episodes. I was basically just talking about format, but like in terms of gameplay, it's like it's night and day. You know, I wasn't like sitting here like if we were doing a podcast, I'd be saying, Spencer was right. Like he like starving himself and like dehydrating himself before the final immunity challenge in a way to get Tony to like do this and that. Like that's a great thing. He really went above and beyond. Like, and that's what it was every episode. People were, you know, doing the right thing for their game, like making attempting to make really big money. Like everybody was at least actively making an effort to like change the game. And I just feel like this episode people are just doing stupid shit. And just like I mean you saw it, like just the dynamics and the conversations between Carolyn and Jen before Max is going home. How Carolyn's like, you know what, Jen? I'm actually not so tight with them. And Jen's just like, oh, you know what? What a relief. Like, phew. Like, yeah, you're with us, dude. And it's just like that's all. Like, that's all you guys. Like, that's it. Like, that's all we
Yeah,
see. It's just like, oh, come on, man.
I know, I know. I mean, Max and Shirin definitely had it coming, and it was their fault for getting like it seemed like they excluded Carolyn in a lot of things, and they should have fucking been aware of that. And it totally like they totally had it coming, but like show us like a little bit more. Like shows like it was. I agree. It was kind of like insulting to like super fans, and they're like, yeah, this is what super fans are actually like. This is how bad they are at the game and stuff. And it's like, you know, like fuck,
Yeah, and it's just like,
fuck.
and then Jen's just like, yeah, like, who cares enough about a game show to like remember all these facts, like that the one world tribe swap, which was just like, it was like 4 seasons before they watched, because it was only 28 when they went on the show. Like that's 2 years ago, and it's like who remembers? It's like, oh, you have to be a fucking ridiculous nerd to remember this type of stuff. It's like I would say that going on Survivor is like a bigger step than remembering all the facts of Survivor. Like I don't know, I didn't like that, and I feel like, but it's like I think Max was just he played so bad. He played and just like in confessionals, how he was saying like the only hard part about the immunity challenge was not showing my ginormous like shit-eating grin after we lost. It's like, okay, I know you're trying to be funny in confessionals, and you can do like a type of thing where like, you know what, tribal's an opportunity. maybe I can solidify an alliance, take control of this game, but then again, maybe not. It's a scary place to be. Like you can still, sound confident without just like begging them to give you a shitty edit. Like
Yeah.
you're just asking for it.
Whenever you see someone being like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to go to tribal tonight," they're going home. I guarantee it. They're fucking going home. And I saw that and immediately like Max is gone. Like there's no way Max is gonna stay after that because he's oblivious. He's fucking oblivious, and you shouldn't be if you consider yourself a super fan. Pay attention to the game. Don't pay attention to like the little details. It's about the people in your game that make the season of Survivor, not the other season of Survivor. What Aris did, what fucking Yule did, what like fucking Kim did, is not going to apply to how you play your season of Survivor.
And I guarantee what they did, what what winners do, and like he taught a class on Survivor, and I guarantee he had a lecture on like, you know what, the number one thing about Survivor is never get comfortable because there's always people plotting behind your back, and as much as you can't trust anyone else, you can't trust yourself at all. Like he had a horrible read on Carolyn. I'm assuming that Carolyn's an undercover cop. I'm assuming that she's like some neurobiology research scientist. Like this is what I'm assuming when I'm on the show. Like this is what you have to do. This is what Tony did, and look what happened to him. He wins. And sure, overthinking can be bad, but like it's better than just like when you lose a challenge being like going to the confessional and being like, yeah, after we lost the challenge, I just wanted to put a fucking dollop of sour cream on my forehead and then do an Irish jig. I was so happy. It's just like what? Like, what are these people doing? I just don't understand it at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it's better to be paranoid than be fucking, like, super happy and super confident in yourself in the game. I remember Andrea and Caramel was the one day she felt safe, she was voted out. You always have to be on your toes. And she was playing a pretty good game up until that point. But she found the idol. She let everyone know that she had the idol. And that was stupid. You always have to, like, always keep in check with what you're doing and make sure it's the best for the game moving forward.
Yeah, and like Max could have just been like, yeah, me and these like gremlin idiots that I'm with obviously lost the challenge because we're a bunch of pathetic, sad sack of shits. But you know what? Hopefully I can vote off one of these losers and take control of the game. That's what I'm looking at Tribal Council as an opportunity for me to try and solidify some control in this game. And I mean, that doesn't make you sound as much of an idiot as like, I'm so excited. I'm glad we lost. Like screw challenges. Like I'm a strategic mastermind when he hasn't done anything in the game yet. I mean,
Yeah.
he has no right to be that confident after, like, for all we know, he could have, like, done that confessional, like, 5 minutes after he got stingrays in both of his feet. For some odd reason, he's, like, this confident. Like, he's such a goober. I don't know, like, where he gets his confidence from.
I mean, from an outside perspective, he knows a lot more about Survivor than the people in Survivor. But from a Survivor gameplay perspective, he knows nothing about it. It's his first time on the show. He shouldn't claim to know so much more than everyone about the game that he's playing right at that moment. That's just getting cocky. He got way too cocky. Also, like, the thing about the stingray with his feet, how do you fucking sting, like, both feet? How? How are you that stupid that you get stung in both feet? That's like, he's amazing. He's fucking amazing.
No, like, honestly, like, I mean, people say, like, oh, Fabio is such a dumbass. He got, a crab latched on his finger. He's like, ow, man. Like, but, like, this is twice as bad as Rob Zabotnik in season 5, who got stung by, like, I don't, it's ridiculous.
Maybe he wanted to one-up Rob Z, and he was like, you know what? I'm gonna get stung on both feet. This is what the real Survivor experience is about. And so he just like steps on it.
I
I
think they
can see
were.
Max doing something like that.
I mean, they both went out in the same place, Rob Z and Max, but Rob Z will always be the best player from Survivor Thailand. I mean, not strategically best. Obviously, Brian Heidick is, but like in terms of entertainment, got to give it to Rob Z. I wish he came back for All Stars because that guy is a hoot and a half. But
Yeah.
uh, I didn't. I like Max was definitely a disappointment. I thought we were gonna get more, funny stuff, more
Yeah.
clever stuff. But then, like, you got to think to yourself, like, it takes a certain type of person to, like, he's a professor, and we know how those people are. Like, they went to college for so long. It takes a certain type of person to even be a college professor, like, have that be their profession, and teach classes on Survivor. He came off as just kind of a weirdo, from my perspective,
Yeah.
who wasn't socially good enough. I think he's just used to like that college type of hierarchy where he's lecturing people and he's not used to like actually being on even level playing field with these younger people. He's used to educating them.
Yeah. I definitely feel like, him and Shirin definitely they're pretty game. They were so confident. It made me attracted to them because like they were like so confident as players and they were so confident as fans. And seeing them like come on and like do terrible, or Max at least, like not live up to what he was gonna do, really makes me rethink like the whole super fan stuff. And like I don't know, like Big Brother Canada 2 starting soon, and there's a lot of super fans there, and I don't want to get burned like that again because he was my first pick in the draft, and Max just he wasn't aware enough to do anything, because like when the numbers aren't on your side, you should realize the numbers aren't on your side, and you should do what the numbers are doing, and like he just went against the numbers too much, and he should have seen how annoying he was and stuff. And he didn't even see that he was going against them. That's the worst part about it. He wasn't even aware of it. And Max is disappointing.
Yeah, they completely wiped out the possibility of it being like, oh, which side are Carolyn and Kelly going to go on? Is it going to be Will or is it going to be Max or Sharon? Like, it was such a blowout thing that they thought it was more funny to just be like, which one's more annoying? It's either Max or Sharon going. And I just thought, like, and like, I don't want to, Max and Sharon, I don't know if they're the only super fans. I'm pretty sure Tyler
Mm-hmm.
is I think that he's a super fan. I think he's a
Yeah,
really, really big fan. It just doesn't come across. And I think
yeah,
that people can be like have the potential to be socially aware enough and especially like you don't want to come off as someone who is just like, oh, I can memorize the boot order in like this and I can do that. You want to be the person that's like Survivor, brings out the light, makes me that like it rejuvenates me. Like I'm just so excited about Survivor. Like that's the person that you want to be on the show. You don't want to be someone who's just a bucket of facts. You want someone who, Survivor really brings out like a whole nother level of,
yeah.
AKA they want me on the show.
Yeah, they need you on the show. Um, there's this guy named like Timeship Taco on Reddit, and he posted this thread today about how to rate yourself in scale of Survivor fandom. And Max is number 10. He's the top, and he teaches on Survivor and does everything on Survivor and stuff like that. And then Shirin's number 9. She's a Yahoo executive. She answers every question on Yahoo Answer about Survivor. Dan's number 8 because Dan's applied like so many times. He's been watching the show for so long. Tyler's number 7 because he does an AI program on Survivor and stuff like that. Joe's number 6. Jen's 5. Will's number 4 because he's watched Survivor on and off. So I mean that gives you a little bit more. Sierra's
Yeah, for
number
like
3.
for like 5 minutes in the hotel room in between naps and meals. Ridiculous. On and off. Like
Hey
between like
man,
commercials, are you talking about? Jesus fucking Christ. Uh, but
at
I think that on
least
that
he
scale,
watched it. Wow, man, you're too hard on Will. You're too hard on Will.
where do you think um, where do you think you lie on that scale?
Um, I don't know. I feel maybe like from what they're saying, maybe like I could be like a 7. Definitely not a 10. Definitely not a 9. Not an 8. Maybe somewhere between like a 7 and a 6. What about you?
Oh, is it really true? Because I think that
Yeah,
like if I was to rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably pick 10, or maybe
yeah,
like 9 point something. And I think the tens should be like the people that like these handful of people that like you know that teach a class, that run a program on it, that do this, that do that, like, and I know everything about like the history, and I think about it, say that I'm 9 point something.
yeah. So let me ask you this. To like sum this all up and everything, do you think that being a super fan gives you any advantage over other players in the game?
A tremendous advantage if you are a certain type of person. If you're a type of person that is good at compartmentalizing your emotions, if you're, socially very aware and control your paranoia to the point where it's healthy and making sure that you have everyone in understanding that your experience is unique and it's not going to apply 100% being separated, being like, I can't use this stuff, but just in case having a trunk full of you. I think it can only be beneficial if you're the type of person that can utilize another person right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it definitely you definitely don't have an advantage like you would in Big Brother. Like if you know Big Brother, you know when like shit's gonna happen, and you know that they reuse challenges a lot. You know how the best strategy for that challenge. You know when the memory challenge is coming up. You know like when the power beetle is probably gonna be there or something like that, or like when Pandora's box is probably gonna happen. But with Survivor, you don't really know that, and I feel like Survivor, from what I gather from watching Survivor, it's like I know all the plays and I know all like the moves that people have made in the past that have helped them like win or get far in the game, and um, that's what really helps me on Survivor. But I feel like you can definitely like you don't need to know that stuff to like win Survivor necessarily or be like super good at Survivor. I feel like you could easily like breed like Machiavelli or something like that, and that'll help you like as much as like Survivor can like prepare you for Survivor. I feel like I love Survivor and I love watching Survivor, and that's why I do it. But I don't necessarily think it will give you like a huge distinct advantage over other people in the game. Hey, can you hear me? Your thing's like kind of cutting out a bit.
Jak frozen. Okay. Well, only about money right now. I have a trophy here, so I have my stuff.